And here we are, we're at Tadcaster Viaduct, literally 2-3 minute walk away from the bus station, and it's got about 11 arches. Some are a bit bigger than others, as you can see. We'll come on to that a bit later. It was a bit of a troublesome viaduct when it was built. It wasn't really fully used and fully optimized, and we'll come on to that very, very soon. But first we'll go straight up to the viaduct, and what I definitely want to do is I want to try out using some of my new lenses. Now I've got a widescreen lens on now, and as you can see it's a bit curved and a bit bent, and as you can see Josh is there in the back. Hello. So we're going to try some of them out, and we're actually going to try do some cool shots, shall we say, some cool shots with them. And this is actually for another video. This is for TJF's newest kind of music video, which should be coming out sometime soon. That's just a bit of a hint there. He's working on one, so we're gonna do some shots, and I'm gonna send him these tonight, and we're gonna see, you know, if they're any good and if they're worth using. So onwards and upwards, quite literally. Tall, isn't it, Josh? It is. It's actually quite hard to see over it. So, you know, I've said this so many times about viaducts, but you never really see the beauty from above. It's always from below. And it's the same with this viaduct, and it's even more so because you can't see over it. It's a very, very high wall. But anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to use Josh here as a bit of a model, and we're going to create some really, really good shots with the gimbal. I've kind of just learned a few new things, and we've also got this new lens on as well. So we'll be testing that out, and maybe some other lenses in the pack. And if you want to know how I took these shots, then in a few weeks' time, when we do behind the scenes for TJF's music video, you'll see that, and we'll get on with the video. Oh, get lost, you wee beggars. So we've taken a few shots. It actually took us quite a bit longer than we thought it would. However, they're looking really, really good. So I hope you enjoyed that little bit of a montage. And like I said, I'll show you that in TJF's video. So now we're going to go over onto the other side of the river, just behind me. We're going to see how the viaduct came to be here, and all the history, everything like that. The usual stuff that I usually do on this channel. And yeah, we'll hit the tape. So this viaduct, like many other viaducts around the area, was built around 1845. This one actually is 1846 when it was allowed to be built. Now this one had a lot of problems. This was supposed to be the viaduct connecting Leeds and York. Obviously I took the coastliner today, which went Leeds to York, and it went via Tadcaster, so that was the most conventional route for the bus. But it clearly wasn't the most conventional route for the train, and it had funding problems. Now it was originally supposed to start from Cotman Thorpe, just south of York, and it was going to go all the way out to Crossgate. So if you've ever been to Crossgate Station, your train usually would have gone to Tadcaster, or it should have gone back in 1846 when it was originally planned. Now, the collapse in railway investment in 1849 led to essentially this viaduct being abandoned without rails being even put down. So this viaduct never got to see rails all the way up until 1883. Now in 1883, essentially freight trains would operate here very, very infrequently. There was a mill just down the road from here on this side of the viaduct, and essentially Tadcaster station was on the other side of the viaduct, and you would get all the incoming traffic from the main lines coming down this viaduct every now and then, to the mill. So there was no passenger services that ever ran on this viaduct. It's quite a sad story because we just never got to see a passenger line ever run as it was intended to. There isn't any plans to reopen this line, I don't ever believe there is, although there certainly isn't any plans to reopen this viaduct because it has no real purpose, because in 1869 the Micklethorpe to Church Fenton section opened, and if you don't know what that is the Leeds to York line. That is the fast line that takes 20 minutes to do from Leeds to York, so really there is no proper purpose for this. The last time this viaduct was served by a train was 1955, which was about 65 years ago. Quick maths right there for you. And yeah, after that the mill closed and there was no real purpose for it. So unfortunately this is probably the saddest out of the three that I've chosen, because this one never got to see the passenger service it wanted, and there isn't any plans in the future to have the passenger service, whereas let's say our previous one, which was Nid Gorge, it had a passenger service and it might see a passenger service in the future. And that's really it for Tadcaster Viaduct. The viaduct is actually Grade 2 listed, so it is definitely preserved, and you probably won't be seeing it go anytime soon, because you pretty much will struggle to find it being collapsed, or anybody who owns the land. It is Grade 2 listed, and a walkway now does run over the top, as you might have seen from our previous shots. We used the top of the viaduct to do that, so it certainly is going to be preserved, and that's probably the only thing that's good about Tadcaster Viaduct, is it offers a brilliant footpath. So in about 5 days time we're about to see a video come from this fella Josh. He's actually got his own channel, which is Bluebee, and what we're going to do is we're going to do a kind of a podcast style video, so I hope you stick around for that, and yeah, ta-da.